Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Hi everybody and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion in the Garage. I'm still wearing the sunglasses because we're recording 3 episodes. That is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because Pete's got to go in, and he is fundamental to this entire project because he's behind the camera. He makes the whole thing happen, and he's got to go in for a couple of medical tests. In fact, that was yesterday, so it's hard to keep track of everything in sequence, but I'll tell you about it all on Friday when I join you at the dining room table for live streaming, jeremycordeaux.com, and we'll have some interesting guests and some interesting topics and some news of the day, phone calls. It's a proper radio station, happens to Betsy. But I'll continue to wear these glasses as we record these 3 shows for the week to take us up to Friday, because the eye is still a bit funny, weepy, and whatnot. It's funny, Pete, because as we broadcast this show, you would have had your tests and we would know that you're perfectly all right, but I can't say that.
I hope you're right.
It's really weird. I kind of have to think in these several different planes. It's like watching Doctor Who. After a bottle of red, you wouldn't be able to figure it out. Anyway, I don't watch Doctor Who. My kids do, but I can't fathom it. Yes. Leading up to Christmas. And of course, this, which is Remembrance Day, the 11th of the 11th, I proudly wear the poppy to remind us that we must not forget. I don't know about you, Pete, but I think every member, male member and some female members of my family going back, I don't know how far, served and fought.
Yes, Dad was in the Air Force in World War II.
God bless him, because we would not have the life and the lifestyle that these people in Canberra are dicing with and playing with today had these people not gone to war and fought, risked their lives and lost their lives to see to it that we would have ours. But just speaking of that, 100,000 Muslims, I believe, will march on London on Remembrance Day, the 11th of the 11th. Why? Well, they say they are marching in support of Palestinians. And it depends on what news service you watch or newspaper you read, but they must be, particularly the activists, the partisans, they must be among the most barbarous people in the world. What business, though, is it of British followers of Islam? What business is it of theirs? Unless they brought all that hate, prejudice and stuff with them, they couldn't want to bring the hatred and racism to Britain any more than I believe the Muslims in Australia would want to bring the enmity and chaos of what could go back to biblical times to Australia. I have a very interesting fellow. His name is Harry Joyner. I'm going to ring him on Friday. He's lived in Israel for a long time. He's not a religious man any more than most people in Israel could be described as religious, but he understands a lot about the region. I look forward to talking to him about 10:30. I think, on Friday morning at the dining room table, jeremycordeaux.com. Just tune in. And what's going on with the lady photographed in the birdcage at Flemington? Promoting Cup Day, I think that's really what she was doing. Wearing a dress, black and white dress that said, "Free Palestine." What's that got to do with horse racing? And how can the women who want to go and look at the fashions and the people who want to go and bet on the horses, what can they possibly do about freeing Palestine? Do we want this stuff brought into our orbit? Because the moment you do that, you've got people taking a side and people saying no and people saying yes. Then before you know where you are, you have one group against another. And we don't want groups against groups, and we certainly don't want people facing up to each other. That's not Australia. We get on with everybody, but I do want to talk to you, perhaps not today, but in more lengthy terms. I want to talk to you about multiculturalism because I think it's a wonderful ideal. Multiculturalism, wonderful ideal. But it doesn't work. That's the truth. It doesn't work. Well, not as the architects of it envisaged. Anyway, on to something else. Here in Adelaide, more hours spent ramping at public hospitals, more than 3,000 hours. Can you imagine that? 3,000 hours, to be precise, in the backs of ambulances. Much more than under the previous government. And the ramping, if you remember back to the Labor Party and the Ambulance Union campaign, the ramping cost the Liberal Party government. Now, thinking back that far, I can't even tell you whether they deserve to be re-elected. I don't know. I can't remember. I mean, I don't vote for somebody just simply because he's wearing a badge or has a stripe or waves a particular flag. I want somebody who's going to do the job and be accountable if he doesn't do the job. We need truth in politics. We need truth in advertising, political advertising. And that goes for all political parties. In fact, you promise, you deliver, or you go. I mean, you can't say $275 off everyone's power bill, as Albo did. Oh, he made a commitment about the referendum. He also made a commitment about the electricity bills. No. Truth in advertising. Truth in political advertising is an absolute necessity, but you know what? Neither side of politics will agree with it. Neither will go along with it, because neither side wants to be held accountable for his or her promises, which I think is disreputable. Melbourne Cup Day, well, it's come and gone. Along with Melbourne Cup, and of course the announcement from the Reserve Bank, which I can't mention today because we're recording on Monday afternoon, but I would mention this to you, that Tuesday was the last independent interest rate adjustment by the RBA. Big mistake. The RBA has got to be independent, in my view. I don't know what you think. You might like to talk to me on Friday about that. This is the RBA review, which we won't know too much about till the end of November. What is the problem they're trying to fix? Oh, it might not be politically a good idea to have an independent Reserve Bank who might put up the interest rates at a time which could be politically awkward. Well, so bloody what? Stop looking after your own rear end and start looking after ours. That's what you're there for. You people in Canberra, leave the Reserve Bank to do its job. $7.2 billion profit for Westpac? Wow. Pete?
I'd like some of that.
When my mum said to me, Jeremy, forget this stupid show business stuff. You get a job in the bank. I didn't believe her. Oh, she said, you can get a job in the bank, you can join the clergy, or you can join the army. That's it. Good, secure jobs. Anyway, I went the other way.
Well, I think you made the right choice, Jeremy.
Oh, well, bless your heart. She probably never did, you know. She never quite knew, right up to the time she died, exactly what I did. She thought it was sort of, I don't know, a very funny business filled with spivs and people in, odd clothes and whatnot. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry if I disappointed you, Mum. I am. But anyway, Westpac, back to the story. $7.2 billion. That is up 27% on last year. Wow. Wow. And according to the bank, no noticeable problems with people paying their mortgage. Okay, well, look, as I said to you, I think it was yesterday, quite frankly, with interest rates, anything with a 4 in front of it is not too bad. I've lived with things with an 18 in front of it. Thank you, Mr. Keating. Now, here's something I didn't know. I'll bet you didn't know, Pete, that we pay the Chinese Communist Party $1 million US a year. That's nearly 2,000. $2 million Australian. Plus millions of dollars to try and get Wang Wang and Fu Ni pregnant. And that's money that, I don't know, are the pandas on Lend-Lease, or is it Rent-A-Panda? I have no idea. I had no idea we were paying the Chinese Communist Party almost $2 million Australian to have Wang Wang and Fu Ni. Did you know that? And by the way, their ongoing presence here in Adelaide at the Adelaide Zoo is going to be decided soon. It's not a fait accompli. I don't know. I mean, are the pandas worth nearly $2 million a year? Maybe you can talk to me on Friday about that. Have I got time for one more?
Yes, yep.
Women footballers. Now, I don't know about you, Pete. I know I've caught you watching the football from time to time.
Oh, yes.
I don't understand football. Don't understand it. Whenever the school wanted me to play football, I had a note from my mother. I wasn't allowed to play football. Anyway, women are now playing football. Might interest you to know that they are 8 times more likely to have an ACL injury. That's an anterior cruciate. Cruciate, is it?
Yeah.
Ligament. Which is serious. Isn't it serious?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Takes about a year to get over, they tell me. And it is just one of the differences between male and female, which you can't blur, which you shouldn't blur. It does beg the question, really, why do women want to play football? Pete, what's your impression of women playing football?
Oh, look, I don't watch it myself, really.
Are they good at it?
They're getting better at it, but
Yeah.
it's not as fast. It's not as exciting. I don't think they have improved.
Are they getting the crowds?
No.
Is it worth them sacrificing their future health in future life? Are they getting paid the sort of $1 million salaries that the male footballers are being paid?
They're getting paid more than what they were. I don't know what the situation is, but
they seem to want to do it, don't they?
I have a passion for horse riding, and that's a dangerous sport. You know,
Yeah.
if you've got the passion for it, I guess you do it and accept the risks. And you have to accept the risks, and not then turn around and sue the football.
Oh no, well you can't do that. Oh my God, no! No, I totally agree with that. Yeah. Well. Anyway, I'll just leave you with a few dates. If I can just get my eyes focused. The Louvre Museum opened in Paris, 1793. Wow, on this very day. Patti Page was born in Oklahoma, 1927. The singing rage, Miss Patti Page. I remember her. She was a star. Golly. Days of Our Lives began on television in 1965. I think it's still going, isn't it, Pete?
Well, I don't watch it.
I don't watch it either.
But I was hooked on one particular part of that when I was a teenager.
Really? Which part?
Oh, I think it was Bill and Laura, I think it was. I wanted them to get together.
Oh. Yeah. All right. You old romantic, you. The Australian Arbitration Court of Justice sets the minimum wage, 2 guineas, for a 6-day week. That was back in 1907. Mind you, 2 guineas back in 1907 could have bought you. It could have kept a family. So let's not rush to judgment. The last daytime Mike Walsh show on National 9 television, 1984, when he started out on Channel 10, which was thanks to Ian Holmes, who brought him back from London. Ian gave me the job if I wanted it. Ian said, you can be his sidekick if you want the job. And I looked at it, and I looked at him. Well, God, what would I know? I was 21 years old. And I said, no, this ain't going to last. I was very wrong, because he went on to be very successful at 10. And then he was stolen by Channel 9, and that went on enormously successfully for Channel 9, the whole network. And the only reason the wheels fell off was that they got greedy at 9, and they wanted to move him from the midday program, which was subsequently taken up by Ray, whatever his name is. They wanted to move him into nights. And he went into nights, and it was a terrible failure. And they sacked him. And Mike Walsh sued Channel 9 and got, I think, a $7 million settlement. And Mike Walsh today runs a lovely little cinema on Military Road at Cremorne or Mossman. Can't remember what it's called. Lovely little cinema, and he shows old movies and has the time of his life. Never went back to the media. Never again. Yes. Oh, and funnily enough, the last late night Tonight Show with Bert Newton on the National 9 network. That was 1984, and they got rid of Mike Walsh on daytime television in 1984. Must be about this time of the year that they start sacking people. Dear. Rearranging the deck chairs. Oh, do I know that feeling. Dear. Duns Scotus died, medieval scholar who introduced the word dunce to the English language, 1309. Who would have thought? A butcher in Hawthorne in Victoria put soap powder instead of flour into his sausages and his customers started frothing at the mouth. 1961. I don't know how that got into the dates. Oh dear. At least one person in 5 over the age of 30 should eat only 3 eggs a week. Dr. Ralph Reeder, then director of the National Heart Foundation. 71. This day. It's got something to do with cholesterol. You know, they used to say you shouldn't have too much cholesterol? Okay, and Edmund Hillary was born in London. Edmund Hillary. Well, New Zealand, actually. Leif Garrett was born. Melanie Ripperton was born, 1948. Ken Todd was born in Liverpool in 1932. Anyway, some of the things for which we remember the day. Bless your heart. Thanks for viewing the Court of Public Opinion. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton and I will be back tomorrow. Believe in yourself. And don't forget to be with us on Friday at the dining room table, jeremycordeaux.com. Bye for now.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.